Now, Erie's premier podcast. News about music, health, and what's happening. It's Breakfast with Nat the Hat in the 814, sponsored by Erie Insurance.
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day weekend in the 814. You know, St. Patrick was a missionary and a bishop in Ireland, and he spent many years evangelizing in the northern half of Ireland and converted thousands to Catholicism. Well, I decided Podcast 20, great weekend for it, would be knocking out homelessness in the 814. I welcome to the studio Aaron Layden, the Director of Development at the Erie City Mission, Katie Peppers, event coordinator for an event we've got to talk about, and Pastor and City Councilman Chuck Nelson, who's going to be putting his dukes up coming up. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Breakfast with Nat the Hat, the 814, sponsored by Erie Insurance. I'm going to start with you, Aaron, because I need to get to know all of you before we get started here. So, Aaron, are you a native?
I am.
Are you?
Born and raised. Yes.
Well, tell me where you went to school.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so went to, this is grade school, Blessed Sacrament.
A bulldog.
Yep,
She was a bulldog.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then for high school, went to Villa Maria when it was Villa Maria Academy.
Nice.
Yeah. And then went away for a little bit to Waynesburg University, just, right before the West Virginia line there. So
Right. I know exactly where you're at. I lived in Virginia for like 8 years. So
Yes.
I know all about Waynesburg.
yeah.
And then, where did you start your career? Were you always having that heart for nonprofit work?
I don't know if anybody says I'm going to work in nonprofit. It just seemed to be where the doors opened, and certainly where God pulled on my heart to be and to stay. But I've tried to leave a few times, and that didn't work out. No, I started actually in college working for St. Vincent Foundation through the hospital.
Nice.
So working directly there with the foundation, but also with the Children's Miracle Network. So raising funds and awareness there. And then I was a communication director or their lead graphic designer for First Alliance Church. And honestly, the pastor at the time, Pastor Rick Crocker, had just left right when I came on board. And one of my just favorite pastors, no offense, Chuck, but he's the one that officiated my wedding. He just a great guy, but left right when I came on board to become the CEO of the Erie City Mission. I thought, well, I'm a little offended. No, but no, something opened up. Someone reached out to me, thought that they had a good role, and it's been almost 13 years.
I was going to say, and then you
Yes.
tried leaving, but you're back.
I did try leaving,
And
but I'm
I
back.
am so glad you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Katie,
Yes.
are you part
I
of the
am not.
814 too?
I'm
No.
not.
Where did you come from, girl?
Well, I am officially have been in Erie for the longest I've ever lived anywhere because I was a military kid. So I bounced around quite a bit and then came here in 2015, went to college, and have decided Erie, Pennsylvania was going to be my home.
So how long have you been with the mission?
I started September of last year. So not
she's
very
kind of
long.
she's kind of a newbie, kind of like your CEO.
Yeah,
Right?
certainly not a newbie to nonprofit world.
No, not at all. All right there, Chuck. Ladies before gentlemen, tell me about you. I know that you are a pastor, right?
Yeah, I pastor a church just about a block away from here that if you're driving down Peach Street, right by the downtown YMCA, the church always has all the homeless people out front of it, and that one's mine.
That's you.
Yep.
And also a city councilman,
Yep.
right? How many years have you been on city council,
This
Chuck?
is my third year. I was president of it last year, so that was I'm having some fun changing some things up.
Good. We're glad to have you on that. Now, let's talk real quickly about your new CEO.
Yeah.
Aaron, give me more info on the
Yeah.
boss.
Oh, he's wonderful. Certainly he's not a native to Erie. He's a native to New York City.
I saw that. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Brian Johansson. people.
Correct, Brian
Yes.
Johansson. But certainly not new to rescue mission field. Worked most of his lengthy career in the rescue mission for New York City, and then actually moved to Pittsburgh for several years and actually was a consultant, would go to other rescue missions and help kind of just
Get everybody on track.
Yes, yeah, with whatever need there was. And I think he just had it on his heart that he wanted to finish his career working for a mission that already was, on track and doing great things, and just wanted to.
Well, when I started looking in to the Erie City Mission, and I know you've been around a long time. I didn't know that long, by the way. But I was amazed to hear that the Erie City Mission has gone through 2 world wars, international depression, many foreign wars, and numerous recessions. So let's start from the very beginning. Let's talk about Billy Sunday.
Yeah. What a great guy.
Yes.
So I actually find interesting with his history, if you follow his movement, if you will, that evangelical movement, and his spiritual revitalization, he actually founded quite a few missions within the same area. So you can kind of follow his trails, if you will.
Well, I saw that he had a promising career with the Chicago White Stockings, which I didn't know they were the White Stockings at one time, and the Pittsburgh Alleghenies. So
Yeah.
then he decided to start this mission. What year?
1911, officially, yes.
Great. So it became the most important outreach center in Erie, right?
Yeah.
Is it true that Erie is the second most impoverished city in Pennsylvania? Can you?
Yeah, definitely.
Katie, come closer. Talk to me.
So we are one of the poorest. We have one of the poorest zip codes in the country, actually.
And that would be the 16501.
Exactly. Yes. So we have a lot of impoverished communities and neighborhoods within our city that just need a lot of support. And that's why we strategically chose to locate the city mission where it's at, because this is where we serve the people that need to be served.
And it is a beacon. I can tell you, anytime that I'm downtown, I see the beacon of hope. The first Erie City Mission made its home on 12th and Peach. How many times did it change locations?
If I remember correctly, 3,
Okay.
possibly 4.
Do you have a lot of the black and whites and all that great history?
Absolutely.
I got to come on in. I got to see
yes. They're wonderful. They're wonderful. It's actually, there's one picture. It's one of my favorites, and it reminds me of Guys and Dolls.
Oh.
Show, because it's that old-fashioned Salvation Army type vehicle going down the street, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful photo.
That's great. Well, what is the mission's mission? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a simple one. Real simple. Restoring hope, transforming lives.
That is. 4 words.
But very, very powerful.
Absolutely. And you won't that's a great mission. And you really don't have to say a lot. How about the vision of the organization?
Oh, yes. Okay. So let's see if I can get this one right off the gate. But breaking the cycle of hopelessness.
Is that?
No, there's one more.
There's you
Hold on.
go
Let me get
right in
Oh,
that.
there. Oh, let me do this again. Cultivating a community of new life.
Great.
Breaking the cycle of hopelessness. Building the kingdom of God. I started in the middle.
Yes, you did. Now, your impact on the city is widespread. You really are the light in the darkness, as one can see when making their way in downtown Erie. You're a safe haven from a lot of the storms in life for these people. Let's talk about the ministries. Let's talk about the ladies first.
Yeah. So probably about 6 or 7 years ago, we acquired a property on the west side of town that was already operating as a women's drug and alcohol facility. It was called My Father's House.
Ah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes, and we knew the owner and CEO, a wonderful friend of the mission, very connected with a lot of the women's ministries at the mission, and just asked us if it's something we would be interested in. We have a men's program, and it has always, I think, so women have always been important at the mission. We've always had programming, but not to the extent that we had for the men's. And so it just was a perfect opportunity for us to start that journey.
When did that journey begin?
I don't remember the exact date, but again, about 7 or 8 years ago, we purchased the property, and we opened up within about 5 months to bringing on women who were single without children and needed a safe place to recover.
Where? How many?
Yeah.
How many people can you house?
Yeah. There are 7 on the bottom floor, which would be your basic programming, and then we had about 5 additional beds that were apartment style that as they went through the program, they would kind of graduate up to a more relaxed setting where they were able to go in and out on their own.
Great.
And we actually are currently in the process of making some additional beds available as well.
Nice. Are you looking at any other buildings?
I can't say, but I can tell you that we are, with Brian's strategic thinking, we are coming up with a really, really great strategic plan for the future. And I can tell you that his heart is women and families.
Great. So let's talk about the men. I know that you've been housing men and doing things for men for many, many years. What is going on there? Katie?
Sure. So we have a couple of programs for the gentlemen. We have a emergency shelter. So anybody seeking housing for the short term.
Is the shelter right on 10th?
It is right off of 11th.
11th,
so
okay.
It's a part of our main campus is what we call it, where most of our services are. But it's off of 11th Street, and it's housing available for 30 to 60 days. And they can come in and stay there. They can work with our staff on getting any assistance that they need as far as like housing assistance or getting a part of programs.
Okay.
Yep. Getting
government programs.
Getting their IDs and paperwork all in line so that they can safely and securely find housing for when they leave our program.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You are in the heart of homelessness. Pastor? Have you know when you talk about your church and all the people that are around your church too, is that by I want to say the community house or is it? No,
well, we house the upper room.
There you go.
So we have a lot of people. I mean, at any given moment, there if you drive by right now, there's at least 6 or 7 people outside the doors, hanging out in the doorway and stuff. So a bunch of friends of mine.
And do you do anything in particular with them as well, or do you just provide a space for them?
Yeah, I mean that's separate from the mission, so I was going to keep it on brand with that.
Sure.
But we as a church, and then in partnership with the Upper Room, and then we host short-term missions with another. We have a bunch of stuff happening at that church that's pretty dynamic.
Great, and I think that's the big deal right now is how many homeless people we have, especially in, as we call it, the second impoverished city in the state of Pennsylvania. I know there's a lot of people that are getting their hands dirty and trying to get things put together. Yeah. So that the mission is one of them, one of the organizations, as well as the Upper Room. Talking about some of your other ministries, let's talk the youth.
That's how I came on.
Did
I
you?
started in the youth. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really unique dynamic program. So I think identified early on. So again, women and youth have always been a part of the mission, but we identified early on that there was not a lot for youth in the middle school to high school range. There's a ton of programming, free development programming for youth in elementary. But once you get up to middle school, there's a pretty big gap. And Rosemary Croce, who is our director of youth ministries, is just she's got a special gift with youth, and specifically within our inner city, there's so many kids that just need that encouragement, that ability to dream about the future. But Rose takes it in a interesting way. So she has, over the many years, actually developed a leadership program. So while they're having fun learning soft skills and doing really fun ideas, I mean, they do podcasting as one of their courses.
Great.
Yeah. They learn how to edit footage, video. They've done stuff with the police academy, junior police academy, just so many really unique things. But in it all, the basics are about leadership. And I think that's lacking a lot in our youth. So it's very important.
Then we talk about the meals. We see people standing around in long lines, especially around the holidays when you're giving out your holiday meals. Tell us about the meals.
Yeah, so the Erie City Mission has one of the only free public lunch in town.
I've been in your kitchen, by the way.
Yeah.
I have popped in there. And you got a great staff in there.
Yeah.
Cooking up great eats, by the way.
Yep. So we have lunch every single day of the week. And then we have breakfast Monday through Friday. That's relatively new to the mission as of COVID 2021, 2022-ish era. And so... yeah, we feed a lot of people every day, more than 150 people.
I was going to say, how many
meal.
meals do you prepare and serve?
So last year we served over 138,000 meals. And again, you said our staff, that's with 3 cooks, 3 paid staff in our kitchen. That's it.
Wow. What is the average cost for a meal?
Yeah, so $2.19. Yep. Yeah. So a cup of coffee.
A cup of coffee. That helps them. And so then there's breakfast. You serve breakfast and lunch on a daily basis. Is that 7 days a week?
Breakfast is only Monday through Friday. And then lunch is Monday through Sunday.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I know that you have a lot of great community partners. Talk about some of them.
Oh my goodness. I mean, well, Chuck's one of them, So,
yes.
While he didn't want to talk about his church, I mean, we could not do it without the partners of everybody else helping with the homelessness issue in Erie. And I think we have some great partners. I know Second Harvest Food Bank is one of our great partners, St. Martin Center, all of our local churches, a lot of the businesses downtown, Erie Insurance, UPMC, Highmark. I mean, we are partners with everyone.
Well, and I know that every year, and of course I've been gone for a while, but have come back and know that during the give, this community really gives.
Yep.
Yes.
And gives a lot of people hope.
Yes.
Like I came back to see that over $8 million was raised. And I know that, you're one of the premier organizations at the top of that list. So how are we combating the root causes of what's going on? And Pastor, maybe you can help out there too. How are we working on the root causes of homelessness?
Well, one of the big things for me on the pastor side of it is just finding a community that, because the homeless have their own community, and for them to find a way to ascend up a social class and have the comforts that we're used to, it then takes them out of their relationships. So as a church, that's one of the big things we've put a focus on, is trying to keep a community around them so that when they find their apartment, they don't lose all their friends because of it, and that they can have healthy relationships.
Sure.
On my city council side of business, we passed different legislation. That was a big priority for me last year, was to update a bunch of housing legislation so the houses didn't stay vacant. So we register those, and really trying to address some of the systemic issues of it. But I think the community, it's become exasperated since COVID. So we've seen it. The single point in time count that came out was record breaking in Erie this time. So the community's trying to address those issues at a bunch of different levels, and the solutions aren't simple though. So.
No, they are not. Because we know that with our homeless, there are a lot of other things going on with our homeless population, besides them not having a place to live. And I had some folks on here a couple of weeks ago that were talking about, the American dream, having your own home. And the thought of not even having a place to rest your head is eye-opening. And I know there is a lot going on down here, and I'm hoping with everybody coming together and collaborating that we can make some really big changes to what is going on. You know, I do see the Erie City Mission trucks all over the place. Where are these guys driving to?
That would be our donation trucks. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually do have a social enterprise arm.
A social enterprise.
Yeah.
Love it.
It is the only part of the mission that brings in money for sales of goods. So we have 2 thrift stores, one in Girard and one here in Erie.
I go to the one in Girard
thrifty
because
shopper.
I'm a thrifty shopper girl, especially, well, you know, St. Patrick's Day. I sing in a band, so I like to get secondhand stuff. I'm going to tell you, I can't tell you how many things I have purchased from the store out in Girard.
Yep.
I even found a captain's hat for my husband, which looks absolutely fabulous because, you know, we are Nat and the Mad Hatters. So great out in Girard. And where else?
In Erie, actually, right off of 16th and Pittsburgh Ave, right by the U-Haul there. And our donation center is connected to the Erie store. So those trucks go all across Erie, Corey, into other cities, and are picking up things.
Right. Do you have boxes? I'm not, or do you make a phone call and...
Right. Yeah. So
Can
if you
that
have a
happen?
larger item, furniture, or say you were doing a yard sale and you have a ton of boxes left over, you can schedule directly with us and we'll
Nice.
come pick it up. But most times they'll just drop it right off directly if it's just a couple items. But what I love to say is we use everything. So a lot of people don't realize we will even take your dirty, stained rags, anything that would not be something someone would wear. We bail it and we use it, and every dollar made in the store is actually coming directly back to our program.
I was going to say every dollar there. Now, how on the dollar, how much is going to your mission if somebody wishes to donate?
On the dollar, I think it's, let me just double check, 79 cents.
79 cents. Perfect.
79 cents of every dollar is going directly to the programs and services.
Programs and services. Okay. So how can one donate to the mission? Katie?
You can donate by sending us a check or donating online. If you go to our website, there's a nice little button at the top of our website that says donate, and it'll take you to a giving page.
Give us your website, Katie.
It is eriecitymission.org, all spelled out.
All right. Now we know that our volunteers are the foundation of our organizations. So tell me about what the volunteers do for Erie City Mission. Drivers?
So this is actually a new role for me. So as of last month, I went from a gift processor to the volunteer and special events coordinator. So I'm just getting a handle on it. And it's really exciting to see all of the opportunities that everyone can be a part of at the City Mission.
So you can do the kitchen.
You can serve in the kitchen. You can be a cook in the kitchen, or you can serve the meals. You can help us with the programs. If you want to mentor a guy in a program, or if you want to mentor one of the ladies in a program, if you want to have that kind of relationship with somebody who's going through recovery, if you have experience through recovery, if you are just somebody who is faithful and wants to invest in somebody that needs a steady, consistent life in theirs. You can do something as simple as coming and helping us with our yard work.
I was going to say, there's got to be office work, yard work.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, up in our admin offices, we are sending thank you letters to every single donor that gives a gift, and sometimes an extra hand to send those letters is really helpful. There are all kinds of opportunities for every person, every interest.
So you can get right on the website. I'm sure there's a button for volunteers.
There is, right underneath Get Involved.
Get involved. Perfect. So we talk about the emergency men's shelter. So this is what we got coming up. And I know, and it is a great event. You're on your 15th year. 15 years of knocking out homelessness. We're in round number 15. So let's have a chat about this big gig coming up.
Yeah. I actually was just thinking about that, preparing for this, that I have been here since round 4.
That's a lot of rounds,
That's
girl.
a lot of rounds. I've seen a lot of growth. So, yeah, it's a really exciting event.
Where did it start? And
Yeah.
do you recall?
I do. It's a great
talk to me.
story, Natalie.
Talk to
so if I can take you back to the Ringside Restaurant. So Erie's boxing family, the Bizarros, Lou Bizarro Sr., very, very great friend of the mission, a really good friend of one of our employees, Susan McChesney, who many, many people know.
Yes.
They just have a really great friendship, and I know one day they were just eating dinner, and as the story goes, on a napkin, they literally drafted out this idea of how we could take the love of boxing and make it a fundraiser for the mission, and specifically because the Bizarros are very much about helping their community when it comes to homelessness.
So did the first one, was it at the Ringside?
No, the first one was actually at Macaulay Auditorium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Do you recall who the first celebrity boxers were?
I'm pretty sure Joe Sinnott was one of the first ones, and Ron DiNicola was probably round 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yes. There were, my goodness, I think Drusilla. Yeah. So there's some
The
really
judge. Here comes the judge. Yeah. Did he win?
Well,
Did you
I wasn't
recall?
there.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
The contenders always win.
Gotcha.
No. Then we moved over because it just got so big. It got so big, and it was just such a unique event. So we moved over to the Bayfront Convention Center.
What year did you go over there? What round?
Yeah, actually, I think it was round 3 or 4 when I came on. Mm-hmm.
So you've been down there for quite a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
And has every year gotten better?
It has. I mean, COVID obviously messed some things up. So we actually was interesting. We had an event and then we decided not to, but the event still happened. We still had sponsors and we still had people supporting the event. It just didn't go on.
I was going to say, maybe maybe we could have videotaped with nobody there.
I know. It was, and Chuck will certainly talk about this. There's a second event or fundraising opportunity that happens within it. So leading up to and even after, there's a little fight that goes on outside the ring, and Chuck can certainly talk through. That would be your crowdfunding. And we're going to do a little shout out because Chuck's winning.
Chuck, you are winning.
By a lot.
Hey.
By quite
You're
a bit.
beating the
By a
police.
lot.
Are you? You're beating the police lieutenant right now.
You know, it'd probably be a lot more effective if you help me keep score. I mean, I'm one of those competitive guys. I want to know where score's at.
Yeah. So they have a goal, and so honestly, that's probably what really helped us out during those COVID years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's this goal. So you're also raising money for yourself
Yeah.
for the mission.
I've been sharing the link, and that's about. But then, helping get sponsors and stuff. One of the sponsors, they're asking for a little more, so now I'm doing an after party at one of the sponsors' places to try to get them a little more out of the deal.
Yep.
Tell us about sponsorship. Do we still have time to be a sponsor?
Well, no.
No. So we
don't.
already have our sponsors.
We have our sponsors.
Okay.
Hey, if somebody wants to come in and give money, I'll
yes.
I'll wear a temporary tattoo or something.
I have got a
Some
bunch.
logos everywhere.
We'll put it on the crowdfunding issue of if somebody wants to come in and sponsor, I will sell space on my body for you.
And that's probably why he's in the lead.
Pastor and City Councilman Chuck Nelson, you're going up against the Erie City Police Lieutenant Tom Lennox.
No.
No?
Well, in the
No.
crowdfunding.
Oh,
In the
crowdfunding.
crowdfunding.
Yeah.
But the actual fight, they go up against a Bizarro.
Yeah.
No. I am confused.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm fighting former welterweight IBO title holder John Boy Bizarro.
John Boy.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I looked up his record, and then I saw that he held the title a few years before Floyd Mayweather. So that's the general area of what this is worth.
Have you been training, boss?
Yeah. I started training a few weeks ago.
And what does one do to train? I've got my tickets, so I can't wait to, do a little yelling for you in that.
Yesterday I did live sparring with John Boy for my training. I did a little shadow boxing, warmed up, and then he looked at me and he said, "So you want to go live right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go live." That's what I've been doing a couple times a week.
So then, who's the lieutenant boxing? Is it another Bizarro?
Yeah, he's fighting Lou Jr.
Oh,
Yes. So, Natalie, it's kind of sad. This is the first year officially that Lou Sr. will not be in the ring.
Aww.
So last year we did a tribute to him in the ring, but every year prior it has always been Lou Sr., Lou Jr., and John Boy. And so this year it's actually exciting because we only have two of the Bizarro brothers.
Okay.
But we actually have a professional fight that's going to kick off the night.
Oh, and what is our professional fight that evening?
Yeah, so it's with lightweight prospect Anthony Bizarro, who, shout out to Anthony, also works for the Erie City Mission, so great connection.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, versus Matt Acosta, who is is it welterweight champion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the professional fight.
correct.
And then the Bizarro boys get to go after these two.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Chuck has to follow that professional fight.
But Chuck is winning in the money race.
Yes.
Chuck, you're winning. Yes. You're winning at this point.
Yeah, that's a big relief. She showed me the numbers. I'm up by a lot. I'm up by almost 1,000, so I'm pretty happy.
That's not including the sponsorships that you've
Yeah,
also
the sponsorships.
brought in.
I've been really selling sponsorships. That's been my harder goal.
That's great. So this is Knockout Round 15. It's taking place April 6th, starting at 6 p.m. And, here it is, Lou Bizarro Jr., Tom Lennox. And then we have our professional fighters. And then we got the boss, Chuck, here. He's going to be fighting as well. It also includes dinner.
Oh, it includes dinner. It also includes a really great raffle.
I picked up one of the raffles today. It's real nice.
Yeah, really nice raffle and silent auction. And the silent auction items are actually for vacation packages. So,
Like where? Where am I going?
Caribbean.
Oh, nice. So not only are we raising money on the boxing end, but we are also raising money with the silent auction. And that's great.
Yeah.
So who's providing the food?
Well, the Bayfront provides the food. Yeah,
Great.
yeah. Actually, funny story at the beginning. So back to the beginning. I mean, here we are. The Bizarro. They're not just a boxing family; they're an Italian family.
I know. That's what I
So
was going to
they
say.
made all of the spaghetti and meatballs for the first, I think, 2 or 3 events.
It's a lot of meatballs.
And but now we're at the Bayfront and we have a wonderful meal there, but certainly not,
So is it the meal before all the boxing commences? What's our night look like?
Yeah, so guests can arrive by 5:30 to view the raffle, the silent auction, get their seats. 6 o'clock, we actually start with the welcome and dinner, and it goes right into the first fight. So people are able to eat and enjoy themselves while the boxing is going on. And then we take breaks for some, intermission, tell you a little bit about why they're there, raising funds. But yeah, we're moving.
Moving and grooving. I love this. I've never been to one. So I'm very excited to come to number 15.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have been around for 4 and 5 and all the rest. And that's at the Bayfront Convention Center, April 2nd, again, 6 p.m. Katie, tell people how they can get their tickets to this wonderful event.
Well, you can visit our website. It's right there on the main page on the banner. You can just click Learn More, go to the website, and there will be either a button where you can select reserve your tickets now, or you can call the Erie City Mission and you can talk to me directly, give me your card information and mail in a check, or you can give me your card information or mail me a check, and then I will mail you your tickets.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it all. And, and I see that there are a few celebrity referees.
There are, yes.
That would be Drew Whiting. Drew's been on my show, the CEO of Erie's Downtown Development Corporation.
He's very excited. Very excited.
Yes.
I mean, Drew and I are boys, so I know he has like a thing on his phone where he's just been putting down funny lines to bust me up. Like he's been trying them out on me on text messages.
Good.
Like if he sees me say something and he'll like shoot me a text and he'll like talk smack on me, like, and then he's like, I'm putting that one in the file.
Listen, the referees are what make the commentary so good.
So Drew's doing that, and then we have Andy Vinca, the owner of Angelo's Roofing.
Indeed.
And this is the first time the two of them have refereed anything, right? I mean, how do they turn around and end up being referees? And are they really in black and white stripes? Talk to me.
So Drew went to the fight last year. He and I had tables next to each other. We went out before and after. It was a real fun night. And so he and I have been like teasing each other about wanting to do this. His wife has a strong opinion about that.
She does.
As does mine. I just don't listen as well. And so when the opportunity came up, he kind of reached out. I may have gotten injured early on. I think that may have contributed to some conversations with him. And then and so he's really excited about it, and really the opportunity for him to talk smack to me while I fight a former world title holder is, I think, the key part.
Poor Andy. Andy actually was supposed to fight John Boy last year, but unfortunately he tore his rotator cuff. So we had already lined up our boxers, and he would do anything for the Bizarros. So he wanted to get back in the ring as a referee this year.
Nice. Well, let's talk about ring girls.
They're now ring students. That ended when all the Bizarro girls grew up.
I just think about that's a portion of it is the ring girls. So the Bizarro girls are not around anymore. So
yeah, the last couple years, our Urban University students participated, and it was just wonderful.
Nice.
They get in, they walk the sponsor signs around, and they get out. But yeah, it's always been a tradition to have younger kids do it.
that's great. Well, as we start wrapping things up here about not only the great work of the Erie City Mission, but knockout round 15 for homelessness, is there anything else in that little handy dandy handbook that you have over there, Erin, that you'd like to talk about? Tell us a story.
Oh man,
And I'm sure you have
many stories.
Yes, I know. Is there something that stands out?
Can I share one?
Yeah,
Katie, you start, and
All right, yeah.
we'll have our girl go next.
So remember in January when we had that really severe cold snap? It got very, very cold very quickly. And I was at a meeting of a lot of community leaders, and they were like, we don't have anywhere for people on the streets that don't have beds to go. Most of the shelters are full, so we started doing a warming center. We're like an overflow to the overflow to the overflow. Right. So this is a place where people can go and be warm at night, and warm and safe. So we were hosting the warming center, and our new CEO and his wife graciously volunteered their time to come in one evening for 6 hours and help facilitate that safe space. And they had 24 guests that night. And the following week, one of the women at that shelter ran up to our executive director, gave him a big hug, and she said, I thank you so much for giving me a place to go. I wouldn't have had anywhere else to go. She had tears in her eyes, and she was just so grateful for what we were able to provide to her. It's something as simple as opening our doors when it's cold is life-changing to some of our neighbors that don't have a place to go.
Katie, definitely life-changing. Erin, how about you? Is there something that stands out for you?
You know, it's funny. I do so many of these, what we coin stories of hope in a year. And all of them, quite a few of them are very similar to Katie's story. But I think the ones that stand out to me the most are the ones that most people would not think. They're not overly in, like, the need isn't maybe out there visibly to see. And I do remember there is a beautiful lady who we met last year. She actually left a note on our Erie Thrifty Shopper counter on her way out one day, just saying how this store changed her life during a really difficult time. And we thought we need to talk to her. Come to find out that she, after recently losing her husband, had a house fire and lost everything. And she wasn't, she was well off by normal means, but really didn't have, when you think about replacing your silverware, your plates, your clothing, everything that you own. And she was in her 80s, or late 70s. And she just really felt when she walked into the store that, one, she was still able to purchase it, but purchase it at a lower cost and get the things that she needed to get back on track. And just for her to tell us how that literally changed her life in that moment, I think I don't normally see those conversations, those situations. So
that's why it's going to be great when we sell out Knockout Homelessness, round 15.
Yeah.
And then people can also raise money with Chuck so he can win this battle, right?
But not Tom. Just send money to Chuck, not Tom.
But that's April 2nd, 6 p.m. They can get on your website. They can get these tickets. It includes dinner, a silent auction. What was the other thing? I think
a raffle.
The raffles.
And great entertainment.
And great. Chuck, I think you're going to be great entertainment.
I've been to it a couple times, and there's a pro fight this year, so there's going to be actual good boxing. Yeah. The two celebrities, we were both college wrestlers. So now, does that translate into boxing? No. But we're at least athletic and into combative sports. I think that the whole show is going to be the best one you guys have had. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Round 15 sounds great.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you've been around since round 4, so.
I've seen a couple noses get bloody.
Chuck, we hope that's not your nose. So you can get your tickets. It includes dinner, auction items, all that great stuff. So make sure to do that and provide hope for those who are homeless. And I very happy that all of you came in. It's a full house in the studio today. Thank you, Development Director Aaron Layden, Event Coordinator Katie Peppers. Katie, I'm glad to hear that you got a lot of other good things going on and volunteerism too. So if anybody would like to volunteer. And Chuck Nelson, one of our celebrity contenders. And who are you fighting again, Chuck?
I'm fighting John Boy, former welterweight world title holder, IBA. Yeah, that's what I'm fighting.
Well, I want to wish everyone a very happy St. Paddy's Day today. And I'd like to end the show with a quote from Mother Teresa. Mother is one of my favorites. And she said, quote, "At the end of life, we will not be judged on how many diplomas we have received or how much money we have made or how many great things we have done. We will be judged by, I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was homeless, and you took me in." Thank you all from the Erie City Mission for your guiding light in the 814 since 1911.
You've been tuned in to Breakfast with Nat the Hat in the 814, sponsored by Erie.